Geek to me radio, da 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 da. Geek to me radio, da 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 da. Welcome, geeks and nerds, girls and boys, to a brand new episode of Geek to Me Radio, episode 220. Today we'll be talking with Valiant Comics marketing and PR director Gregg Katzman all about things that are coming out from that company that you'll want to make sure you keep an eye open for. We'll also talk with Susan Eisenberg and Lacretia Lyon about their new venture, SoapCon Live. Stand by. We're talking TV, comics and movies, and video games. And if you don't know Star Trek from Star Wars, we'll try to explain. There are 12 doctors, 4 Hogwarts houses, 1 ring rules them all. To be the greatest Pokemon master, you must catch them all. You must catch them all. Try to catch them all. Gotta catch them all. Gotta catch them all. And for those of you tuning in for the very first time, welcome to Geek to Me Radio. I'm your host, James Enstall. For those of you who don't know, this is our online show. We do 2 shows a week. We have this one that comes out online, where you can get your wherever you get your podcasts from. We also do a live radio show on the Big 550 KTRS, heard Sunday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. If you're not in the greater St. Louis area, you can always stream it live at ktrs.com/stream. You can hear it from anywhere. We also broadcast those on video on Twitch TV and also on YouTube and on Facebook, so you can catch those. Make sure you follow Geek to Me Radio on all those platforms so you never miss a show. We've got a full slate on this online broadcast. Let's get right to our first guest. Right now, we're joined by the marketing and publicity manager for Valiant Comics, Gregg Katzman, talking about all things Valiant, what they've got coming up for you. Greg, how are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much for having me on today. How are you doing?
Absolutely. Doing well. Thanks for the time today. Like I said before we started recording, I've been a Valiant fan since the early 90s when it first came out. I've still got my early run, and some of the new stuff you guys are doing, it builds upon that, and it kind of reinvents it at the same time. So you've got a lot of very talented writers and artists working for you right now. So kudos on everything you guys are doing.
Hey, man, all credit for that stuff goes to the editors. I wish I could take credit for it. But they're the ones who put in the hard work, working with creators, getting the right creative team for gigs, and then building the story. I am merely here to scream it from the rooftops and promote it. But, one thing that, a reason that I love Valiant, and I say that as someone who joined the company as a fan. The company relaunched in 2012, and obviously that immediately appealed to fans of the 90s incarnation. So there was a lot of nostalgia attached to it, a lot of respect paid to the original source material. But it was also a fresh start. It was a relaunch of an accessible universe with really cool characters. So I think it tiptoes the line very well of appealing to fans who loved this stuff back in the 90s, while also being accessible enough to welcome fans of superheroes, different genres, because that's really what I love about the Valiant universe, that there really is something for every kind of reader.
Absolutely. I mean, there's so many different titles, and one's nothing like another. I'm always been a Shadowman fan, and I know you guys have a brand new relaunch of that series coming out. I think the last new comic book day of April, if I'm not mistaken. Colin Bunn's heading that one up, yeah?
That's correct. April 28th sees the launch of the brand new Shadowman ongoing series. It's written by Colin Bunn and features art by John Davis Hunt, colors by Jordi Belair, and letters by Clayton Cowles. That one has been in development for a long time. Then, COVID hit, switched everything up, but now the first issue is finally going to drop. And we sent out, review PDF to press early. We've let some fans get an early look, and we are just blown away by the response that the book is receiving. Shadowman, is a character who has a lot of, enjoyable storylines from the past. There was the opening ongoing in 2012 with Justin Jordan, Patrick Zercher, then there was Andy Diggle as well. So you've had a lot of great creators, and that's not even factoring in the original incarnation of Shadowman. But what this book is doing differently is, while it is still technically a superhero book, you have, Shadowman fighting demons and whatnot, it is first and foremost a horror comic.
Yeah.
And it's episodic in nature. So while there is a bigger storyline that's carrying through from issue to issue, every single issue is looking to tell a kind of standalone story and embrace a different kind of horror. Because as you know, there are so many different ways of delivering horror, whether it's slasher, suspense, body horror, all of these different kinds. And the team is really having a blast just exploring that in every issue.
And it's also a great way, because you don't need to, I know some comic book storylines, if you miss out on the first issue, they have a storyline that's continuing on. You pick up at issue 10, you have no idea what's going on. So I love the idea of these standalones. So if you miss the first couple issues, you can jump right in with issue 3 or 4, and it's going to be its own story. So I love the standalone story idea.
Yeah, accessibility is important. Obviously, a comic shouldn't be so new reader friendly to the point that it feels like it's bogged down with exposition. And someone who's been following along from issue 1 feels like, they're just retreading a lot of material. But accessibility is very important. You have to realize that, whenever someone picks up a Valiant comic, it could very well be their first experience with the Valiant comic. So that's always kept in mind. So, the intro page tries to be thorough enough to catch everyone up without making it feel like they have to do a bunch of homework,
Right.
Not like they have to go back and read a bunch of trade paperbacks to enjoy the issue. I think Colin Bunn's doing that very well in this series.
Absolutely. And it's a great time for Shadowman too. You've got the game Shadowman Remastered on PC. You can get it through Stream, GOG, Epic Game Store, and I think later this year it's going to be out for like the Switch and the Xbox and the normal consoles though, right?
Yep, that's correct. It hit PC today. Well, today being the day we're recording, and we've been working with Night Dive Studios and their PR firm Uber Strategist to promote the game, and it's just been a great collaboration. I watched a playthrough yesterday with the developers, just showing off not only the ways that they have kind of respected the original look of the game while tweaking it with slight updates, but also the way they have fun introducing things that were cut from the original game while also adding in some new things without really hindering the experience if someone wants to feel like they're just replaying the classic with an updated look. So it's really cool, man, and we're seeing such an amazing response to this game. There's a ton of excitement around it. I look forward to watching people, playing on Twitch and YouTube and sharing their thoughts on it. So it is available on PC. Like you said, it's on Stream, GOG, and Epic Game Store. And then later this year, it is scheduled for Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, and Xbox.
I'm definitely looking forward. That's one of the first ones I grab when it comes out for my Xbox. I'm looking forward to this immensely.
That's awesome. And
we could talk about the comic books. I mean, just the titles you've got forever, but you've got all these other things going on. We had Julie Murphy on the show. The time becomes all wibbly wobbly with 2020. Seemed like it was an 18-month-long year, but we had Julie Murphy on shortly before Faith Taking Flight came out to talk about that book, and she's come back for the sequel now, Faith Greater Heights. That's also a great way to introduce people to the Valiant universe, because you might have these people who they just read the novels and are like, oh, this is based on a comic book, so that's a great tie-in there as well. Talk about having Julie Murphy back to do the sequel for this.
That's an incredible get for Valiant, obviously, because Julie is an acclaimed writer, a New York Times best-selling author. Her work was adapted for Netflix, the movie Dumpling. So it's just been a real pleasure being able to work with such an acclaimed author and have one of our most popular characters brought to a whole new medium. So that is definitely a great way of introducing one of our most inspirational characters to a whole new audience. hopefully it does motivate people to also check out Faith's Adventures with the several trade paperbacks that are still available, while also introducing them to the greater Valiant universe. And I mean, I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, I was introduced to some of my favorite characters through animated shows. It wasn't the comics themselves.
Right.
And we should always be embracing new ways to try to introduce people to Valiant characters, whether it's a video game, a show, a movie, an action figure, a novel. There should be no barrier, really. Anything that has the potential to turn someone into a Valiant fan and get them to explore the comics, that is a great opportunity that should be explored.
And talking about opportunities, Bloodshot came out, and we had it was right. I saw it in theaters right before the pandemic really kicked in, but I thought it was a great thing, and it opens itself up. I'm kind of salivating at the idea of an interconnected Valiant universe of films like the MCU, and that's got to be on your guys' mind there at Valiant with Bloodshot. I think it did really well. I heard very little negative about it, and we actually had Heather Antos on right before the film's released to kind of talk about it. Where do you have any idea where it stands with another, either a sequel to Bloodshot or a possible another movie like Shadowman or someone else getting their own film?
Sure. I will be completely transparent with you. That is above my pay grade. Okay. That is up to our friends at the parent company, DMG Entertainment, who are hard at work finding new ways to get the Valiant brand out there and introduce people to these characters, whether it's, I shouldn't say too much, but they are hard at work exploring ways to continue to get the Valiant brand out there. I'll just say that. But despite the pandemic, obviously it was very short-lived in theaters, and understandably so. Yeah. But when it hit on demand, I believe at one point it was technically the number one movie streaming worldwide, which is surreal to think about. That was a Valiant movie. So that's just incredible to think about. And it received very good reviews from fans. So I think it performed well despite the circumstances. And I'm not sure if you can speak to this or not, but did you guys see an uptick in comic book sales as a result of either the theatrical release or when it released on video on demand, or both? Did you guys see a spike in not only Bloodshot comics, but the Valiant comics overall, or were you not able to really track that and coincide it? Oh, it absolutely brought more interest to the Bloodshot ongoing that was written by Tim Seeley and featured artwork by that series involved Brett Booth, Mark Lanning, and a new artist who is incredibly talented and brings an energetic style named Pedro Andreu. So that definitely brought more attention to the book, but it also came at a time when the publishing schedule had to be reevaluated, I'll say, because of everything that occurred. So if everything played out as it was supposed to be, it definitely would have been a great opportunity for fans to have an accessible jumping on point with Bloodshot immediately after seeing that movie. But we did also have the Bloodshot Definitive Edition trade paperback available, which collected, I believe it was the first 3 story arcs of the 2012 relaunch, which I view as a great way to introduce someone to the character of Bloodshot. And with all the different characters you've got in the Valiant stable, I mean, there's just so many. And as we talked about, lending themselves to a cinematic universe, which could easily be built upon with Bloodshot, as the way I saw it, it also lends itself to a great diversity in casting, and representation in casting is something very important these days. And I think that's great that you've kind of already got the groundwork for that laid in, because the characters in the Valiant universe are already so diverse. I think the Valiant universe offers an amazing array of characters, whether it's Faith, Dr. Mirage, Shadowman, Punk Mambo, Live Wire, Rai, Eternal Warrior. There's just a great variety of characters to discover in this universe, and I truly do believe that there is a character for every type of fan in the Valiant universe. And I will say, if you guys ever decide to do a live-action Archer and Armstrong movie, and I'm not sure how much you'll have input, but I would love to see Jack Black as Armstrong. I think that'd be brilliant. That would definitely bring the project some attention, having Jack Black do that role. The guy can do just about anything.
What else do you have? We've obviously mentioned some stuff that's coming up, but is there anything else yet that you're able to announce or that you're excited about coming out here with 2021, hopefully roaring back after the pandemic here? What can people look forward to from Valiant? We'll pause there, take our first commercial break, come back and chat more with Gregg Katzman of Valiant Comics. Please stand by.
Holy cool listening! Hi, this is Burt Ward, Robin the Boy Wonder from the TV series Batman. You're listening to Geek to Me. Golly gee willikers, it's fantastic!
Welcome back to Geek to Me Radio. Talking with Gregg Katzman of Valiant Comics all about the new things that you can expect to see in 2021 from Valiant.
Yeah, sure, man. Right on the horizon, we have the new Shadowman series. As I've said before, that is a horror comic, but it's also a superhero comic that is going to debut on April 28th. Shortly after that, more info will be revealed soon. We have the Ninjak relaunch. That's by Jeff Parker and Javier Pulido. Pulido is doing art and colors, and it's written by Jeff Parker. And then after that, we also have the Harbinger on the horizon. That is by Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly co-writing it. And you have Robbie Rodriguez doing the artwork. So that's bringing a totally new kind of energy to that property, and it's putting the spotlight firmly on Peter Stanchak. That's why it's called The Harbinger. And it really is all about Peter. And I don't want to spoil anything. I'll just say it's about Peter Stanchak.
Okay. Perfect.
But then there's also a lot in the works. There's, of course, a lot being developed for 2022. And there is a totally new franchise that is currently being developed. I can't speak too much to that. All I can say is it is a sci-fi series and it is a teen book. So it's a totally new property. I will speak more to that when I'm allowed to, but right now I can't. And then, of course, we also have Exo Manowar returning. That will be this summer. It's going to kick off a new storyline.
Perfect. So a lot to look forward to. And again, this is one of the things where if maybe you're listening to this and you're thinking, oh, I haven't read any Valiant comics since the 90s when it was first out. This is something that's a great jumping on point for any of the characters you just mentioned. We still got Shadowman, we still got the Harbinger and all the ones that you remember, but a lot of the new stuff is really great as well. So there's not a bad time. I don't think there's a bad title to be your jumping on point back to Valiant in this case.
For sure, and that's exactly what turned me into a Valiant fan to begin with. I unfortunately missed out on collecting Valiant comics back in the 90s. I was big on Marvel, DC, Ninja Turtles. I didn't really pay any attention to Valiant back then, though. So when the relaunch occurred in 2012, I was writing for a website at the time. Primarily, again, Marvel, DC coverage, a little bit of Ninja Turtles still. I said, this is a universe that I missed out on. It seems like a cool selection of characters. I want to check them out. And I was sold right from the first issue that launched, which was Exo Manowar #1 back in 2012. And then there was also Archer and Armstrong, Harbinger, Bloodshot. And what I've really grown to love about this universe is that it is meant to always feel accessible, while also the publishing plan is supposed to always offer a totally different kind of story. If you're picking up, 4 Valiant comics, presumably they should all be exploring different genres, feel somewhat connected, and of course, being told by people who are, not viewing this as, potentially another gig or something, but the opportunity to really tell a character-defining tale for one of Valiant's many, many characters.
Yeah, and as we said, that speaks to the credit of your writers who you have on staff there who just do such great storytelling jobs with the characters and kind of does make it feel interconnected, but just these interwoven stories are just always so wonderful. So again, kudos to you guys for getting some great writers for the stories you do have.
That's very kind of you. I mean, that's exactly why I was so happy to join the Valiant team, because I am such a fan of the universe and the variety of characters, and I just it's kind of surreal being being able to see everything before it comes out and being involved in discussions about these books while they're developing. And with this new title, it's something I'm going to be much more involved in when it comes to 2022's releases. So that's going to be a lot of fun for me, just to always be able to bring the perspective of a fan. Because while I am technically an employee of Valiant, I still just view myself first and foremost as a fan who has the opportunity to just always give my feedback. And it's a great company to work for because they welcome that. It's a very open environment where we can always just talk to each other about, our hopes and dreams, essentially, for this universe. Because right now we're lucky enough to control the direction of it.
It sounds like a dream job. I mean, just to go into a fan into being able to work for it and then have your hands on that's got to be an amazing feeling. It
absolutely is, man. It truly is.
And you can check out the website, valiantentertainment.com. We always say, make sure you support your local comic book store. So if you got a comic book store that's in your area, go out, grab the current issues, grab some back issues, and it's never a bad time to dive into Valiant. Where else can people keep up with you and or Valiant Comics online, Greg?
Sure. So you can find Valiant at Twitter, just at Valiant Comics, and you can find me on Twitter with it's just my name, Gregg Katzman, GreggKatzman, and everyone is welcome to reach out to me and let me know who your favorite comic book characters are, maybe some of your favorite comic book storylines, and I will recommend a Valiant comic. I may even be able to provide you with a free PDF of an issue or perhaps an entire trade paperback, because when the pandemic started, we recognized the toll this was obviously taking on people, and we wanted to offer escapism. We wanted to give people a mental escape from everything that's going on. So every day we were doing our best to provide free PDFs of number one issues, jumping on points, or even whole trade paperbacks. So we have quite a library of those, and I am happy to share appropriate reading recommendations if anyone wants to reach out.
Perfect. And I got to say, your social media team is killing it. We follow each other on Twitter, and it's always, you just put out your favorite Valiant cover, and immediately my mind went to Shadowman #8, first appearance of Master Dark. But you guys, your social media team is so interactive, and it's always great to interact with your Twitter feed and everything like that. So kudos again for that.
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, I think one thing that is very important to Valiant has always been the engagement and accessibility when it comes to fans. At the end of the day, fans should always be thought of first, because if it's not for the fans, who is supporting your product? Who is rooting for your product? They're the ones you're creating everything for. And if you're not listening to them or making them feel valued, I believe that is a massive mistake. And then, of course, also when it comes to press, I have a lot of experience as press, so I've always placed big value on engaging with press. One thing that we're going to start doing now that I'm really happy about is I remember how amazing it felt when one of my quotes was used on a comic cover or a trade paperback, but it was always just the outlet name. So what we're doing now is also putting the journalist's name and the outlet.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I thought that would be really rewarding. I mean, look, comics press, a lot of people do it for fun. And a lot of people have a ton on their plate. And frankly, it's going to focus a lot on Marvel and DC because that's what's generating the most traffic. So I do want to make sure that, if people are taking the time to read Valiant and share their honest thoughts on Valiant, I want to do everything in my power to let them know just how much it is appreciated.
I'm going to jump in my email box right now and start putting some reviews together, then see if I can get on one of those covers.
Hey man, I encourage you to do honest reviews, and if there's a good pull quote, I will reach out. By no means don't view it as a chance just to get quoted. If you don't like a comic, feel free to say so. But yeah, if you do sincerely love a comic, you're always welcome to pass along the review, good or bad, just because I do value feedback.
Perfect. That's and there's a lot to love at Valiant Comics. Once again, Gregg Katzman, marketing and publicity manager for Valiant. ValiantEntertainment.com is the website. Greg, thanks so much for your time today. It's been a pleasure to speak with you.
Thank you, man. Likewise. I really do appreciate it.
My thanks once again to Gregg Katzman. We're going to pause there, take our next commercial break, come back and chat more with Susan Eisenberg and Lacretia Lyon about their new SoapCon Live. Stand by.
Hi, I'm Kid Shriner. I was the voice of the Green Arrow in the Justice League Unlimited. I play Scotty Baldwin on General Hospital. So when you're not watching General Hospital, listen to Geek to Me Radio.
Welcome back to Geek to Me Radio. Want to make sure we talk to you about our official movie sponsor, and that is Marcus Theaters. Marcus Theaters and Movie Tavern. You can go to the website marcustheaters.com to find the location of the Marcus Theater or Movie Tavern closest to you. You can get your tickets there, check out movie reviews, kind of see what there is as far as ways of dining if you want to make it dinner and a movie. A lot of the places from Marcus Theaters offer both. You can either have the dine-in where they bring the food to you as you enjoy the movie. You can grab a bite beforehand in the Take 5 Lounge, get a drink, hang out, just make it a whole night. And especially if these places are open, get back out and enjoy them. I missed them so much during the pandemic, and now they're starting to open back up. The world is starting to open back up, thankfully, and we can get back out and enjoy these things we missed, like movie theaters. A lot of great movies out. We're maybe coming back strong here in 2021. Mortal Kombat is out. You can still see Raya and the Last Dragon. A lot of great movies. If you haven't seen Kong vs. Godzilla yet, get out and see it. You can also download the Marcus Theaters app for your smartphone, and you can order your tickets, order your concessions right there through the app. They'll be hot and ready and waiting for you. Unless it's a soda, then I'm sure it'll be cold and ready and waiting for you. When you get to the theater, you can pick it up for a more contactless experience. And don't forget about their Marcus Theaters private screenings. You can rent an entire theater for you and up to 20 friends for just $99. All the details are on the website. Once again, marcustheaters.com, the best movie-going experience in the galaxy. With that said, let's get to our next guests. Right now we're talking with a familiar voice. You've heard her on the show many times before, Susan Eisenberg, and also joining us is Lacretia Lyon, her partner in SoapCon, a brand new event celebrating the soap opera genre, the Connect fans, and their favorite daytime stars of past and present. Ladies, thanks so much for being on air with me.
Hello. let me just say it's SoapCon Live.
SoapCon Live, thank you. What did I say?
SoapCon.
SoapCon Live.
Yeah. Okay. SoapCon will send you to a soap site. Hi, I'm Lacretia. And soap is in what you wash with, hopefully.
Right. So, yeah, if you're out of Coast or Ivory or Irish Spring, you can go to SoapCon. If you want to talk to soap stars, you go to SoapCon Live. Now we have it correct.
Exactly.
Thank
Perfect.
you.
So this is exciting. I know, Susan, we've talked it before about how you and I both like soap operas, and you even had Ken Shriner from General Hospital, your Justice League co-star, on my show before. And this is something you kind of had mentioned before. It's like, wouldn't it be cool if they did this? And now it looks like the two of you are actually bringing this to fruition. So start with Susan. Talk a little bit about bringing this to life.
You know, it's been a road, and like anything related to daytime, it's been a drama. But
big time.
You know, like you said, it's something I always thought there was a lot of potential. And in talking to other people out there, it was like, oh, this could be something. And to make it happen, I needed to assemble a team, if you will, because there was no way I had the wherewithal to do it myself. So I thought about the people I'd want to align myself with to help me. And one of those people was Lacretia, because she and I had talked on Twitter about daytime television and soaps. And she has a podcast, BLEAV in Soaps. And so she had invited me on her podcast several times. And we started to text a little bit. And when I was really going to go forward with this, I thought, you know what? She'd be great on this. So I reached out to her and she's like, are you kidding? I have been thinking about doing this forever. I would love to do it. And we also reached out to Alan Locker, who had been doing a show on his own channel called The Locker Room. And he was, when COVID struck, he decided to get a lot of the older shows, the actors from the older shows, on with him to talk about the old days. And it was very nostalgic, and I became a fan of his. And so we brought him into the team as well. And he reached out to a lot of his actors that he had worked with on Guiding Light and As the World Turns, One Life to Live. So he was a publicist in daytime for 20 years. Huh. So he brought a lot of that to the equation. Lacretia works in, Lacretia was doing her podcast. She's also a moderator. She's a host. So she had a lot of connections also. And I was just a fan. Aside from having Kin Shriner being one of my closest friends, I don't really know that world intimately. So, except that I read Soap Opera Digest. So, there was a lot of work to do. It was a lot of heavy lifting, but here we are. It's been months and months in the making. It was, a huge learning curve. I know the soap opera part, it was the con part that was really challenging to set up the website and create the WooCommerce and making sure people could buy things on the site. And thankfully, I partnered with a genius named Lacretia who spent countless hours setting it all up. So, kudos to her for figuring all of that out.
And
yeah, it's almost like me and Susan switched roles. She was the fangirl and I was Wonder Woman.
It's true. It's really true. She really has been.
So when Susan comes to you with this idea, what are the first thoughts that go through your mind as far as initially like problem-solving challenges that kind of sprung to your mind first, Lacretia?
Wow. There's been so much of it. It is like, where do I begin? When she first came to me, I was like, oh my God. And we were going to be, at that time, we were possibly going to be working with this other con company. So none of this building of websites and building of stores and learning all this stuff was even in my mind. It was just like, I want to do this. How can we do this? And it just became sort of apparent to us that we really were the team. So why don't we just do it ourselves and do it the way we want to do? And because, we can do this. I mean, we're Wonder Women. And it's so crazy, all of what I've learned to do over the past few months and to just build and see it. I'm very much a rally person. And if I see a problem, I just want to fix it. And if I want something, I will just make it happen. And it's so crazy that it has happened. Like Susan and I started the first Comic-Con for soaps.
Yeah, that in itself is amazing. And you would think, because I always see like there's soap opera cruises, like The Young and the Restless people will go on a cruise and you can pay for something like that. But obviously with COVID, cons weren't happening, nor were cruises happening.
No.
So this is kind of a great way to solve that. And I think the fact that I don't know what it is about soap operas. So I'll say for myself, my grandmother moved in with me and my mother after my grandfather passed away, and she had to watch her stories. So as a little kid, I'm watching Days of Our Lives and Young and the Restless, and then I'd come home from school sometimes, and, oh, what's this? It's called Another World. Okay, it's coming on before Days. I'll watch that too. So that's how I kind of got sucked into the world. What was your exposure to soaps, Lacretia?
Well, for me, it's funny. I grew up, my parents, I don't even remember them being together, but the one thing I remember that they both liked was the ABC soap operas. And so that was something I could take to their house. I could take to my grandparents' house, and my mom or my dad, like everybody could relate on some level to what Greenlee and Erica Kane are up to on All My Children, or what's Sunny and Luke doing on General Hospital. And One Life to Live was actually my favorite of that trio, because I, even as a little girl, clearly had some issues because I love me some Todd Manning. But, I mean, and two, as a little girl, I know it certainly helped that leading men like Nathan Fillion and Josh Duhamel were on at that time, too.
Yeah. Yeah, when you think about some of the movie stars that got their start in soap opera, Tommy Lee Jones, for crying out loud, was, I think, The Search for Tomorrow. But he a lot of these people started out in soaps, and they've always said it's a great place to learn because you really have to compress a lot of dialogue in a short amount of time and work with other people. And it was a great learning ground for a lot of these people who went on to become huge Hollywood stars. So I think there's also a bit of a stigma that, at least it was for me when I was in college, you're a guy, why are you watching soap operas? I think that's kind of gone away more because I feel like I see more male fans tweeting about soaps online and things like that.
Yeah, there's no shame. Yeah.
And there's
half dude.
and there were certain events that just brought everyone into it. The Luke and Laura and the Scotty and showing up at the wedding. And I mean, I think all of those things, it's like the MASH episodes. I mean, it's like crossed all boundaries. Everyone was watching those moments. So, and I think that, once you're hooked, you're hooked. It's like, once you fall in love, you're going to stay in love. And you may leave it and come back, but it's like a constant. Unfortunately, we only have 4 left. So I think all of the fans are just holding dearly and holding tight to the ones we still have.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, and it's so funny, like you talk about being a guy, but I know I'm a big hockey fan. It's crazy coming from Texas, but the Dallas Stars, the cup-winning Dallas Stars, not the runner-ups like we were last year, but the Craig Ludwig even talked about that before they took their daily nap, they had to watch All My Children. And so we're talking about big drinkers, crazy hockey guys of the 90s. We're still watching these stories today. And like you say, that fandom, and that's the beauty of, the pandemic, is that so many people have been looking for this and looking to connect with stuff of the past. Like Susan said, the nostalgia factor. And that's something I've been talking to everybody about, because even if you weren't watching them every day, like some of us, when we all got stuck at home during the day, wasn't it comforting to know what John and Marlena were up to? I mean, Days never lost an episode.
Yeah.
This was where they benefited being 8 months ahead. Meanwhile, the other soaps, they figured it out. They showed reruns, and this sort of brought people back. And I feel like this is daytime sort of zeitgeist, like it's been comics for the past 10 years.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's, and I know the panels you've got lined up. You've got, Live from Oakdale featuring some As the World Turns, the Kramer Women of One Life to Live, and then Love and Tragedy General Hospital. The great thing is, like you mentioned, soap opera stars kind of bounce back and forth. Like, for example, Austin Peck, who Brad Snyder on As the World Turns, was also Austin Reed on Days of Our Lives. Cassie DePavia just had a turn as Eve Donovan on Days of Our Lives. So there's a lot of crossover as well. That's great.
Yeah, and that's the fun part, is when you can reach, like we say, there's only 4 soaps left. So the audience should be sort of the same audience. It's not like when there were 14 on the air and you had to sort of pick your network.
Yeah, there's such crossover. So you're watching NBC, you're watching CBS, it doesn't matter. It's like, I think there's this sense within the soap community for the fans is like, let's support what we've got, because we know what it's like to lose them. And when you lose them, chances are they're not going to come back. And that's, I think, that's heartbreaking. Unless they're all my children. But I mean, it's been 10 years since a lot of those were canceled, and the heartbreak is still there. It's really visceral. If you're a fan or if you're an actor who lost your job, and, there are no shows left on the, on the East Coast. It's really a shame. So there is a lot of crossover. People are West Coast, East Coast, and when we talk to somebody, it's like chances are they've done more than one show, and it's a very small community.
Exactly. Yeah, and I know, like you said, that heartbreak. I remember watching the series finale of Another World and thinking, oh man, we're losing something here. And then that was in, I think, 99. And I think just as the years have ticked by, we see, another one. Well, there's plenty more, but we are I feel like it's an endangered species. We need to take care of these things and keep them going.
No, it really is.
We'll pause right there, chat more with Susan Eisenberg and Lacretia Lyon. Please stand by.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Eric Martzoff. You might know me from Days of Our Lives. You might know me from Smallville, Rideshare the series, or maybe I ran into you in a grocery store. I don't know. But you are listening to Geek to Me Radio.
Welcome back to Geek to Me Radio. Our premier sponsor, the people who make this show possible, the City of St. Charles, the Greater St. Charles Convention and Visitors Bureau. You can go to the website, which is discoverstcharles.com, just as Lewis and Clark did 250 years ago or more, I guess. Actually, my time's all wibbly-wobbly. But discoverstcharles.com is the website. St. Charles was founded over 250 years ago. And it's one of the places on the Lewis and Clark Trail. You can ride the Katy Trail if you want to get out and do some exercising in this glorious weather. It's a beautiful week this week here in St. Louis. Hopefully it's gorgeous where you are too. And you just get out and enjoy the weather. There's lots of places. Maybe you are from out of town. Maybe you haven't come and explored St. Charles yet. You can do that. People are getting vaccinated. The world's opening back up. So make St. Charles a place on your list. You can get out and see it. Explore the whole website first so you know exactly what you want to do, because there is a lot to see and do once you get here. And that website, again, discoverstcharles.com. Discover stcharles.com. As we always say, it's an historically good time. Before we took that last break, we were chatting with Susan Eisenberg and Lacretia Lyon about SoapCon Live, and we'd asked them, we kind of talked about how the storytelling in soap operas has kind of changed over in the past decade or so.
And the storytelling was very different. It's funny when I look at the old clips, because I do, on YouTube, you look at how long the scenes were and how much they were able to, those scenes could breathe. And now when you look at the scenes, it's like click, 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 click. Everything moves so quickly. There's just not a lot of time for those things to develop like they used to. And, I'm old school. I have I'm much older than Lacretia. So I grew up on different shows than she grew up on. And you talk about Another World. That's one of my favorites. I can't wait to do another, I can't wait to do an Another World panel with some of the actors from that show, because it was a great show. There were great actors, great storytelling, and I still miss it. And I know a lot of other fans out there do too. And when you said earlier about, the cruise, there are other, actors are able to go out and sell autographs or do other things, but there's nothing like what we're doing, which is, it doesn't matter what show. We're one-stop destination for soap fans, because we want to have everybody on. We want to have all the shows from yesterday and the ones that are on today, and we welcome all the shows, all the actors. So it's a little different from what's out there right now.
And SoapConLive.com is the website. It's scheduled for May 1st with, I believe you said the meet and greets, everything like that, are to follow at a later date, correct?
Yes, the 8th. The 9th, which we'll be announcing, as well as the 15th and 16th.
So, everyone gets to have the panels that we're doing, the 4 that you mentioned, those are free, they're live, and they'll be streaming on the Locker Room. And then the meet and greets is where you have a 3-minute one-on-one with your favorite soap star, or you can go to the site and you can buy autographs from the actors, or you can buy a video greeting from the actor. So there's a lot on there, and we're anxious to talk to the fans. We want to know what they want to see and who they want to see and what panels they would love to watch. So we're hoping it'll be interactive in that way too, that they'll be like, we'll be talking to the fans too about what they're looking forward to.
And with these 4 panels, obviously, we've got the ones you chose. What was the back and forth? Was it the two of you who settled on, okay, we can get these actors, so these are the panels we'll do? Or was it kind of like, well, I'd like to do a panel like this and then see who we can get? Kind of the chicken and the egg, which came first?
It was a little bit of both, to be honest, because Susan and I both are big idea people, and we're big fangirls. So we had like a huge master list. that I had down, and then it was like, well, who do we know? And especially when we were going out on our own and people are taking a big leap of faith, we sort of had to rely on people that were like that could grow with us. But yeah, trust me, there are big long-term plans.
That's why I like to hear.
Because people are asking like, oh, is this, are there going to be other panels? It's like, if Lacretia and I have our way, there's going to be about 400 other panels. I mean, we had so many ideas. It was really, really hard. But again, it's complicated to set everything up. And then who do you know? And who do you know who knows somebody? And, Ken Schreiner has only so many friends. I mean,
that's not true. That's not true. Ken knows everybody.
It's true. Yeah. He does know everybody, and everybody who's interviewed, somehow his name always ends up in an interview. It's crazy. But we obviously did a GH panel with Ken because how could we not? And then, Alan worked for At the World Turns and Guiding Light. So we're hopefully going to do a Guiding Light panel down the road, but we, got As the World Turns in. One Life to Live, we just, Lacretia's favorite. And how could you not do something with the Kramer women? Because we're just huge fans of that show and those women. And, in the Doctors, we have a partnership with Retro TV where they wanted to be in on this. And, hey, we show the Doctors every day on our network, on our app. So why don't we do one, a panel that promotes that and has our people on too from that wonderful show. So there you go. That's how that happened.
Yeah, sponsors are always a huge part because obviously that if they're able to help promote it from their end and also, throw some money at it to help get the thing off the ground, that's even better. So, and it's also, It's Real Good TV is also one of the sponsors,
yes.
if I'm mistaken?
Yes.
So this is all coming together. I mean, is this going to be like we're still getting details down, we might have some surprise guests pop up, or is it kind of like on autopilot at this point?
Lacretia?
I wish we were on autopilot at this point. So yeah, trust me, guys, there's a lot more to come, a lot of surprises, and you'll just have to watch May 1st to see.
And I'm assuming this will go well because, like I said, the soap opera community is very, very invested in their stories, just as my grandma was. And so I think this is going to be a huge success. If this goes better than planned, are we thinking yearly? Are we thinking another 6 months down the road for SoapCon Live 2? What are the thoughts?
Oh, no, it won't be that far away. No, there'll be a follow-up, fairly soon.
Oh, good.
And it may not, the thing is with these things, it's like what you start out as and what you become can be very different and look very different. And the truth is, as much as it's based on what my Comic-Con experiences have been like and what Lacretia's have been like, we also want it to be our own thing. And we want it can be whatever it's going to be. That's the beauty of it. So there's so much, it's all potential at this point. So there's no way we're going to wait 6 months. There are too many ideas. How do we reach 400?
Oh, yeah.
If we do it every 6 months, there's no way.
Yeah. And
we'll be following up fairly soon. And people
yes.
and there are other things on the site, like we have a news section and, where you can find your favorite soaps. Lacretia did a soap TV guide for people. And there'll just be other things on there that are just fun. And, we're fans. So we want other fans to feel like, oh, yeah, they're like welcome home kind of thing. So yeah, it definitely will not be 6 months, and we'll be selling autographs and meet and greets and the video greetings all the time too, at certain times too. So yeah, it'll be busy, hopefully.
And you mentioned conventions, Susan. That's one of the things, and you and I have talked about this at length. I miss conventions, the Comic Cons. I miss going there and that physical presence, actually getting to shake hands. Now that we're hopefully seeing the light at the end of this COVID tunnel, has it at all been discussed, hey, maybe we can do one of these live? I mean, obviously it's very easy for everyone to just log into their Zoom and do these at their own home and everything like that. And it's easy. Scheduling wise isn't as big of a deal. But is there any thought to doing a live in person SoapCon Live? We'll pause there, take our very last commercial break, come back and finish our conversation with Susan Eisenberg and Lacretia Lyon talking SoapCon Live. Please stand by. 'Cause we only have one life to live.
Hello, this is Eric Braden. I'm now on Geek to Me Radio. I'll be damned.
Welcome back to our final segment. Before we took that last break, we were chatting with Susan Eisenberg and Lacretia Lyon about their new event, the inaugural edition of SoapCon Live, and I asked if there's any chances of this becoming an in-person event.
Oh, of
absolutely.
course.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
that's why we kept the name, and I mean, like you guys, conventions were my life. I mean, that's where I made my money. That's what I did in all sorts of different kind of conventions. So that was what was cool to be able to use that here. And like you, I'm sure that was such a huge part of my life that I've missed over this past year. So any way I could do it again, and whether it be online or hopefully live. sometime soon, I mean, that's what we got to do, because conventions are about bringing people together for one common love. And what's wrong with that?
Yeah.
Like,
definitely.
Yeah, that's definitely a goal. And, we would love to do that. And, they're just, it's great to have the live component right now, the virtual component, because it's so easy for people. And I think people have been through enough, and life is so challenging right now. Let's make it as easy for people as possible.
Sure.
But when people start to get back to their lives and they feel ready to fly and go to different venues, then we would love to host something.
Very cool. And I'm going to ask, too, because I know certain conventions have started doing this, where the fan can mail something into you guys, and then the celebrity will sign that item. I have a Justice League Ultra-Humanite figure that I'd love Ian Buchanan from Bold and the Beautiful to sign. What are the chances I can do that at a future date for an upcoming convention?
it's funny. Ian is somebody that I know, and we were talking about getting for at least for like the next one or two. So don't worry, Ian will be there. I don't know if we'll have that kink worked out yet.
Okay.
But you know, it's good to know because Ian is on the short list. So you're not the first one to suggest him.
Perfect.
And
I mean, he's big for Maine too, and Twin Peaks. So
that's right. That's
well,
right.
hello.
Yeah.
Duke Lavery on General Hospital. Hello.
And he was Dr. Madden who undid Erica Kane's abortion on all my children, guys. Like,
yeah, that's a whole other thing.
It's crazy.
That's a lot. You could have like just one actor probably talk about all the different crossovers they've had from here and here and here, and that'd be the whole panel for like an hour long. Some of these wacky turns they've had.
Oh, completely. Because like we said, they've jumped all over the place. I mean, it's so you have one actor like him. That's all you need is one guest.
Right,
you don't
exactly.
need anybody else on the panel. You just talk about his 4 biggest roles, and then that's your panel right there.
So before I let the two of you go, I want to mention again SoapConLive.com, Saturday, May 1st. And it's sponsored by Soap Opera Digest Retro TV, and it's Real Good TV. You can catch it on The Locker Room, and just go to the website, soapoperacon.live, to sign up and check out the panels. I'm going to ask you, but before we leave, we'll start with Lacretia. Top 3 favorite soap operas of all time. Go.
Well, as we've talked about, it's definitely One Life to Live is my number 1. But just picking 3, I got to go with GH for number 2 because it stuck with me. And God, I hate to be that guy, but do I say Dark Shadows? I wanted all my children, nice. But, because my favorite characters come from there, but no, it's got to be Dark Shadows.
Perfect.
Wowza, didn't see that coming. Okay, look at you.
And Susan, same question, top 3.
Okay, does it have to be daytime?
Not at all. You can think outside the box.
Okay, so this is what I'm going to say. Another World, Guiding Light, and Knots Landing.
Oh, very nice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I loved Knots Landing. Loved.
People always forget about the nighttime soap operas like that one.
But, that was so good. I mean, Dallas in the early day. I mean, it was like, those are just amazing, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm a big Desperate Housewives, but that was sort of like a nighttime soap as well as like a Twin Peaks type weird show.
Right.
It was a hybrid.
Exactly. It was a hybrid, yeah.
So see, we've got all these new ideas we can do for SoapCon Live 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all these other ones that there are endless possibilities, I feel.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, we can always host an event at South Fork. I mean,
there you go.
It is an event venue.
That's right.
That's right.
And let everyone know where they can find the two of you online. Lacretia, where social media handles, websites, and everything other than the SoapConLive.com?
Well, it is my thing, so I must do it. Since I'm Lacretia Lyon, guys, you can always find me at LACRETIALYON anywhere on the internet since there is only one.
Wow. Lucky you. Susan Eisenberg 1, because there are so many other Susan Eisenbergs. I had to go with Susan Eisenberg 1. So that's where you can find me on Instagram and Twitter. And if you want to go to my website, it's SusanEisenbergVoice.com. Just if you have any interest in the whole voiceover thing, you can go visit me there.
Very cool. Ladies, this has been great to talk to you. Thanks so much for the time. Very much looking forward to SoapCon Live, Saturday, May 1st. We'll talk to you then.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
That's going to do it. My thanks once again to my guests, Gregg Katzman of Valiant Comics. Make sure you check out Valiant Comics and all the cool things they've got coming down the chute. And also my thanks to Susan Eisenberg and Lacretia Lyon. Check out SoapConLive.com. Check that out. Make sure you get in there. If you're a soap fan, this is going to be an event you will not want to miss. Until next week, my friends.
It's not in the way you watch iZombie. It's not in the way you watch The Flash. It's not in the way you love Scotty Young Art. It's not in the way you play Mario Kart. It's not in the way you look when you make Game of Thrones references. That's our show. This is Geek to Me Radio. That's our show. This is Geek to Me Radio.
Thank you, Port Charles. Good night. This is James Enstall, host of Geek to Me Radio, and I have a mission for you.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
The next time you want to buy something from Amazon, go to geektomeradio.com first and click our Amazon affiliate link. Simply shop like you normally would, and when you check out, a small percentage will go to supporting the show. So remember, the next time you want to search Amazon for the latest Game of Thrones Blu-ray or Sonic Screwdriver, click through from geektomeradio.com first.
This tape will self-destruct in 5 seconds.